Y'all, the Five Sauce concert was very fun. Anyway, hi, I'm Simon, and I went to the 5 Seconds of Summer concert. I went on July 2nd, which meant that I actually had the next day off, which was very nice. But I went to the concert, it was at Climate Pledge. I had a delightful time in spite of my real life death. I have mentioned this in the past. At some point in the last 2 years, I have somehow developed really bad concert anxiety. I don't know where it came from. I literally have no idea. Because the main things, per my Googling and asking of people that I also know have it, is that it's either a fear of loud noises and a fear of crowds, and I have neither of those things. I'm fine with crowds, I'm fine with loud noises. So I don't know what's wrong with me, but it does mean that every time I go to a concert, I do die. And I was dying at Five Sauce. I really was. Right during the opener, because we were there for, I think, the whole opening set, actually. But during the opener, at some point I was like, oh, I do not feel well. And I was right at the bottom, at not the barrier, but the barrier of the section. And I wasn't allowed to go further down to the floor. And I was literally mind mapping. I was like, okay, if I do need to throw up, here's what we do. And I had a game plan in case I needed to run to a bathroom without running up a bunch of rows of stairs. So I had a game plan. I was dying. I still had the best time. If you've watched my other videos about the concerts I go to, I love a concert. For the record, I don't talk about most of the concerts I go to. I feel like if you only look at the concerts I make videos about, you'd think I go to 3 a year, which is factually incorrect. I went to twice this year. I didn't talk about that. But I love a concert. I really do. I dance. I sing. I have famously gone to concerts where I know none of the songs for the act performing, and I have a great time. So, for going to Five Sauce, I was in heaven. That makes it sound like I'm a bigger Five Sauce fan than I am. I'm really not. I do think Order Chaos Order, Callum's solo album, is, diabolically excellent. It was my most streamed album last year. I am deeply, deeply unwell about it. But, as far as, the Five Sauce canon, I can tell you my stances on them really quickly. I do think they have good singles, and they do have some goated songs, but, I wasn't huge on their last album, but also, I was on Tumblr. I've existed in the world of, the internet. I've somehow made my way onto Five Sauce Twitter. I was gonna say back, I don't think I've ever been here before. I don't belong in this sphere of Five Sauce Twitter, but, they do have songs that I'm crazy about, so I was very excited to go to the concert. And it was really fun. In spite of the fact that I don't love Everyone's a Star, the album, it was a great show. Those songs are so fun live. Even ones that, I don't like as songs, I've grown to appreciate since the concert. I've been listening to the set list a lot, mind you. It's just, a lot of them are very rocky, which I don't love as, a listening experience in the same way, but live, delightful. Magical even, dare I say. It was fun. They had enough of their old songs that someone like me, who really likes a lot of their old singles, was into it. Whereas, they didn't, and then obviously the new album was there. They didn't have a ton of, what I would call deep cuts, I guess I'd say. Although, to be fair, they have enough albums that makes sense. It's you don't go to Beyonce expecting her to perform a random B-side off her debut. So I get it. I will say, though, my favorite parts, one of my favorite parts, I'm going to run through the songs in a second. But one of my favorite parts was the ending when they did all their old songs. That was so fun. Actually, let me run through all of my highlights really quickly. Highlight number 1 was actually almost a low light. So they have a brief chunk where they all do a solo song. And as we've established, I'm deeply unwell about Callum's solo album. So, when I knew he was gonna do Don't Forget You Love Me, I was like, okay, we have to go. Because I love that song, because I love that album. Except he was supposed to be the second one to perform. And then the first guy, I don't remember the order, other than that he was supposed to be second per Wikipedia. But the first guy went, and then the second one started. I don't remember who was second. But the second guy started, and I looked to the bestie, and I was like, and I showed her the set list, and I was like, it's so over. What are we even doing here levels of it's so over? And then Callum came out, and he did his song, and it was so fun. I jumped to my feet. Because keep in mind, at this point in the concert, for the first, half of it, I was dying. And then once Don't Forget You Love Me happened, I think like my body just relaxed and I was ready to go ham because I was dancing my heart out for the second half of the concert and like occasionally for the first half. Like if I knew and liked the song, I would get up. So like I danced to Teeth. I danced. I don't know if I would say I danced. I guess I would. Because my favorite part was the yearning section. I do love a Five Sauce yearning song. Basically, they did Bad Omens. They did Ghost of You. I forget what the third one was. But Ghost of You is one of my favorite Five Sauce songs. So, like, I was so happy. I think, okay, because during, oh God, was it Michael's? It was one of the solos. During one of the solos, they showed, like, some of the fans, right? And I was adamant, okay, that I should have been on screen during. No one was going harder to Don't Forget You Love Me than me and the bestie. Also, may I just say, I really liked the concept of this concert, like the narrative around it, I thought was really cool. I feel like in the modern day, and especially with a lot of the K-pop concerts that I go to, there aren't a ton of like narratives built in. Like I know Beyonce's was like a big topic of discussion, and my thing with the Cowboy Carter concert was that the first little bit had a narrative, and then after that, the narrative kind of fell apart. Like, the first half was very much like, you go from American Requiem to Freedom to, oh God, was the Star Spangled Banner in the middle? I remember the first, like, 5, 6 songs did have, like, a narrative, because it had the, like, don't ask permission for something that always belongs to you regarding rights and stuff like that. And that part I liked. And I really like the fact that Five Sauce not only had like a narrative to their concert, but it spread through the whole thing. Like I know I also saw the Gaga concert when she was here, and that one again like had a narrative, but it wasn't like a narrative for dummies. I feel like for a concert especially, like you do kind of need narrative for dummies. And the Five Sauce narrative was fun. It was interesting. It was a cool framing device for the songs that they were gonna do. I did really like it. Like I actually walked out of it and one of the first things I said to the bestie was that I loved the narrative of the concert. Do I have anything else to say about this concert? I don't think so. The vibes were fantastic, actually. I've commented on other concerts in the past for having dog shit vibes. Like, everyone's seated and they're recording it on their phones. And there was some of that. It could also just be the fact that, like, I was at the front of my section. I couldn't, like, see out into the crowd of, like, well, I guess I could see the floor. The bestie kind of slayed with the seats. We were, like, right at the front of the section of, like, the stairs down to the floor, but we weren't on the floor. Because I've done floor seats before, like, not, like, GA floor, but, like, floor seats. When you're in the back of floor seats, it is kind of terrible because you just can't see over people's heads because it's not built for that. We were, like, just elevated enough and far back enough that it was so easy to see. Also, I forgot to mention, so there was a sign language interpreter. There were actually 3 of them. There was a trio of sign language interpreters at the concert. I loved them. I loved the energy they brought to the show. Like, to be clear, like, no one was paying attention to them but me. I clocked them during the opening set. And then at some point, like, I would start paying attention to them because they were a good distraction when I thought I was going to pass the fuck out. But they were so fun. They, like, especially, there was one man who had such energy to him. He was my goat. He was my king. I hope he's doing well. But back to my point, which is the vibes. The vibes were delightful. Okay, like, to be clear, I feel like a 5 Seconds of Summer concert in 2026 would have good vibes. Like, not in, like, 2015. The vibes there were probably horrifying. But, like, in the modern day, I feel like the vibes were really good. Like, people were having fun. People were dancing. People were screaming. Like, I would look out at, like, the room around me every once in a while, and, like, everyone was standing. Everyone was dancing. And it was so refreshing, because I feel like a lot of the last few concerts I've been to, everyone's been seated. And, like, if everyone around you is sitting, you don't want to be that one person standing. So, like, I've done it. Like, when I saw Rise live, like, I was the only one dancing. When I saw Gaga live, it was, like, the bestie was on one side of me. And then it was me. And then it was this girl and her boyfriend. And, like, the bestie and boyfriend were both seated. And, like, the people on either side of them were also seated. And, like, me and this one girl were just dancing all night. But, like, as a whole, I do think this was one of, like, the best vibes of a concert that I've been to in a hot minute. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. I could run through the set list, but, like, I'd just be like, this song was fun, this song was good. It was a fun vibe. Like, there was one song on there ironically, the surprise song that I would have skipped. Can I talk about the surprise song? I lied. I have one more thing. The surprise song, okay? As someone who's now made their way onto Five Sauce Twitter, I do know that there is a beef with the surprise song. I forget what it's actually called. But, like, the surprise song, our surprise song was Heartbreak Girl, and it was heinous. Not heinous. It's a fine song. But, like, they have such better songs that I personally would have rather they do. Like, Old Me. Oh god, I'm suddenly blanking on it. I just had it in my head. It's one of the ballads off their Five Sauce album. Oh god, I'm blanking. I'm a fake fan. I've been a fake fan. I'm not a real fan. I'm not that deep in the lore. But, like, they had other songs that I would have preferred they do. But on the topic of Heartbreak Girl, they did do, like, a full AMC Nicole Kidman recreation. I shrieked with delight. Okay, I was downing water this whole concert because, as previously mentioned, I thought I was gonna pass out. So I peed like 4 times during this concert. I went to pee at like one point during one of their little spiels that I was like, okay, they're talking, I got time. I peed between sets a different time, and then I peed before the intermission. And at some point, like as I was coming back in, they did the AMC recreation. And here's the thing, if you don't know this about me, I love the Nicole Kidman AMC, the real thing. Don't come to me with the abridged bullshit, the full thing. Somewhere in my notes app, I have my own recreation about AO3 that I could do a dramatic reading of, and I might one day. But for, like, it was just so fun, right? Like, to walk back in and hear, like, we come to this place, and, like, it was fun. The whole vibes of this concert were genuinely so fun. Okay, I now think that's all I got. So thank you so much for watching. Comment whatever you want down below. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you went. You can like, subscribe if you want to, or don't. I'll be fine either way. And yeah, thank you again for watching.